Oh.
Sally Boy. How do you pronounce it usually?
Sally Boy.
Sally Boy, yeah. I love Sally Boy ever since I saw him play a lot in M2. And then at the same time, Udil, I also really like as a player, how he moves as a mid laner, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to be looking at that matchup, Udil versus Haji in the mid lane. It's going to be spicy.
I feel like both of them have really different play styles, right? I feel like Udil is a lot more...
Mechanics play.
Yeah, he's a little bit more passionate, not passionate, fiery. Like, he goes in for the 50-50. Sometimes it works, sometimes he's not. He's quite aggressive as compared to Haji, who's a little bit more reliable. Agree or disagree?
I think I'm agree because he's not afraid to like initiate the team
Yeah,
fight,
exactly.
Open the reward manipulation if he using the Yves or even like when using the Farsha, using the Feather as strike. But one more thing that we already seen on the match, first match I think, the Ling. 3 game who are using Ling are winning the game. And Sully Boy's signature hero is Ling.
Yeah.
Are Sully Boy gonna use the Ling right now?
Yeah, that's one of my fears. Because, well, good thing that you mentioned that. When I imagine Sally Boy, I just imagine Ling. His performances in the old MPLI, way back in MPLI, the MPLI before M2. So, yeah, we're definitely going to have to watch out for that. Especially since considering Blacklist really likes playing those high poke super backline mages like Eve, Farsight, and even the Savior.
I mean, I like you say that, right?
Oh, wow.
Because
Yep.
they ban it out away from the Miracle Boy himself, right? Ling taken away from Sally Boy. Definitely a respect ban here from the side of Blacklist. And that's Bonchan, man. Coach Bonchan does his homework.
Yeah.
He doesn't disappoint.
It's a wise decision, even Wise is not playing right now.
Oh my god.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
That's a 7 out of 10 from me, but with a lot of respect. Very good.
But now we see the drafts coming into fruition here. Blacklist with the first pick, Alter Ego with the second. We see once again Edward is going to be respected again with the Joy taken away. 1-1 is also going to be a choice for the ban, which is something that a lot of casters have actually kind of discussed. And, you know, like, why is 1-1 still a ban here, seeing as her win rate isn't too great, but now the Fredrin is taken away?
I think it's because on the right pilot, 1-1 is still very dangerous, especially for the immune when he is, she's using the crossbow of tank, so she can just dive into the back line. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. It's the same way. I think that's why a lot of pro players still request that 1-1 get taken out. It's just the thought of, I don't really want to go up again. I know I got this. I know we can handle it, but one crossbow of tank can just completely change the picture of the game. Better not. So, although I'm starting to think maybe this is partly also the alter ego tendency of new patches. It takes a while for us to understand. So that might also be it, other than just them not wanting to go up against the 1-1. So Alter Ego will take out the Fanny. This opens up a very viable Eve first pick, but after everything that I saw in the previous game, I don't know anymore. Oh, I'm still right.
Still.
Okay.
Oh, and that's a power pick for Haji. Very scary. And I'm wondering if Alter Ego want to respond to that with a Valentina pick.
Or Glue. Glue is free right now.
Oh.
And Pai is a good pilot to using Glue because he's always aiming for the back line. And of course, like for Pai mechanics, it's really hard to catch Pai when the team bites happens.
Oh, what?
Farsha Arlot, I almost forgot that. Arlot using a Brave Smite is really hard to catch and always regaining the health every time he uses the Vengeance. Yeah.
So do you think that the new patch makes Arlot a lot... Wait! Oh my god, finally.
This is it.
This is what I was waiting for. Paquito. Paquito has been buffed insanely. And with the new emblems coming through, how are we feeling about this Paquito pick?
Oh, I love it because it's still a flex pick. We're not sure if this is going to go into the jungle for Hades or for the XP lane for Edward. And Edward has pulled off some highlight plays as the Paquito. Edward Balboa is one of the names that we call him.
That's the nickname.
Oh, so we see it. It's a Paquito in the XP and then a Lancelot in the jungle, which makes a lot of sense because they're up against a Farsa. So Udil's going to have to be really watching out his positioning here.
Because it can quickly go to the back line.
Yes.
And of course, the Tone Rose right now is 135% physical attack. And especially when, like on the last match, third game, the Lancelot is using the Weapon Master. That's why it's very, very painful for every damage from the Tone Rose.
Because you get an extra 5% on that, right? So that's incredible damage. And I think Gideon was even screaming without the S as well. When the Lancelot was doing those plays, it was incredible. But how do we close this last phase for Alter Ego?
If I'm here, they could go ahead and say pick their. Okay, I was about to say roamer, but they said, you know what? We're gonna pick our gold laner already, and this is not a surprise. Although Harith right now actually has 100% win rate, and he's rising up in the picks for many months now. From time to time, you see a lot of teams pick him up. It works even better because gold lane mages seem to scale quicker.
Yep.
They hurt faster. Hence why I think behind the scenes we're also hearing like Nathan's really good right now, especially after the newest patch. So I don't mind this, as long as they take out the heroes that would give the Harith a hard time.
I think they need to be careful because the Harith worst enemies are Esmeralda. We already seen it before. Maybe Blacklist can use Esmeralda as the gold laner, but
That's a great suggestion, honestly, yeah.
Diggy's still not out, and maybe Blacklist want to ban Diggy since they have a lot of crowd control right now.
Ooh, Lunox ban.
Wow,
Very
Akai,
interesting.
Lunox.
So
Yeah.
I guess they're kind of sniffing exactly what you mentioned, right? They maybe are
Mage.
viewing that it could be a mage as well in the gold lane. Going against the Lunox, that should shred as well into the shielding coming in from the Harith, even though it's not a quote-unquote counter like the Esmeralda.
Exactly. Now I'm thinking, I wonder if they're considering taking out Oheb's one signature Alice in the gold lane.
What is it?
Yeah, the Alice. The Alice. So hopefully, I wonder if that's something they're considering. But yeah, I like the idea that Alter Ego are really thinking about the mages in the gold lane that they might take out. So it's interesting right now as we're going to the second phase. We haven't seen the roamers or the OZC, the XP laner there. Roamer and jungler for Alter Ego, and meanwhile here it's a roamer and a gold laner for Blacklist. So Alter Ego says we don't want that suppressed, we'll take out the Harith. So now I'm thinking, will Alter Ego pick up a Franco?
Frank. What about Atlas for Blacklist? Is it gonna be good because it can like do the combo wombo with the Eve?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that could work out really well, but then the Harith might just pick up Purify along with the Farsa, so that's already two targets that you'll really have just to wait. They can go for it if they want to, but I think it's like they really have to make sure, okay, once the Purify is used, that's when the Atlas will go in.
All right, and here we can see that the Mardis is going to be the choice of ban coming in from Blacklist. So they're still signaling that Alter Ego has yet to pick a hero for Selling Boy. And this is when things get interesting, right? Because so far he's only picked up the Martis. The Martis is off the board. Ling has been taken out. What other choices does he have in the jungle? Do you think we can expect
Hayabusa?
something like the Hayabusa for sure?
Or
And
Roger.
Alucard.
But
Do you think we'll see an Alucard for Selly Boy?
If there's not much crowd control or even the burst damage from the Blacklist side, I think Alucard might be a wise option. But if we already see Paquito, Alucard versus Paquito, it's gonna be a nightmare because Paquito have the even left punch, knockout strike, so it's gonna be burst damage, and Alucard gonna be facing a hard time.
Yeah, he really has to work out on his timing if he's going to be using that. So I agree with the Hayabusa suggestion that you mentioned there, Colio said. It seems a little bit more safer. At the same time, they have to watch out the threat. Blacklist, if they're going to go up against the Hayabusa for their Eve. But now, Blacklist, they bring out a slightly similar formula to one of their games against Aura Fire. They bring out the Moskov, which I really like. A really fast basic attack, a good knockback, and then, of course, Renegade, the Cult Altar will be very useful here, but it's gonna go out really quickly because the burst damage of the Harith and the Farsa is really strong.
And Eterna, I think it's gonna be two different playstyle. If you look at the draft from the Blacklist, they much be like a more teamfight oriented, but instead of Alter Ego, maybe they're gonna like playing some pick-off games during the early game because they have Franco, they have Arlo, even the burst damage from Farsha on level 4.
And there you go, you're right. The Hayabusa here does come through for Alter Ego. You called it. All right, exceptional drafts coming in from both teams. But what can we expect from the gold lane real quick here? Moscow versus the Harith.
Oh, definitely Blacklist needs to put some focus on the lane of the Harith.
Babysitting?
Yeah, they should not let the Harith freely farm. We've seen how fast Hariths can farm every time we see it. If they can pressure the Harith early on, that would be best.
Especially with the lethal ignition, I think, wow, it can be dangerous. Harith on the late game.
Okay, a lot of creativity that's still up in the air for both of these teams. And with that in mind, let's throw it back to the casters. Take it away.
What's up, Lee? What do you think of that draft? That draft was amazing, Carter. I think they're going to be really, really good this game. And honestly, looking at both of these compositions, I honestly feel like it just comes down to the execution, especially for Blacklist International with their new lineup.
Yep, there's a big difference between SPS Blacklist and MSC M4 Blacklist. And here, we're going to see how exactly what Alter Ego has done to prepare for that and how Blacklist has recovered from the difficult series that they went through in the early days of the challenge season. It's a counter start between Shelly Boy and Hades here. And I like the, I don't know, call out the fact that assassins are truly back.
We haven't seen a single utility jungle so far on in the day. So far, it's all just been assassins. So we'll see if that continues all the way to the end of the day. Because from the experiences I've had in game as well, the assassins just have found a little bit more success in these games by dealing more damage. Obviously, because of the changes to the emblems. What hasn't changed is the pricing for the tickets of the Legends slots. Here, you guys can go and take it, buy it, 20,000 IDR, or even join the raffle.
Yep, they're slowly running out by the day. Just a couple more weeks till we go out and fly out to Jakarta, and we can't wait to see you there. Something to talk about real quick would be the emblem setup for our lineups here between Alter Ego and Blacklist International. I did notice that Edward was rocking the Brave Smite. So that means he wants to stay in there, right? That's his core talent. And then you have cooldown and that's tenacity. How many tenacities can you spot? 1 and 2. This is weird. Pre-SPS resuming, I could have sworn tenacity was going to be the big thing.
I think tenacity definitely gives you a lot of value, but it really depends on what you're facing off against. I think the Arlet here is the real reason they went for 3 tenacity for the side of Blacklist International. Meanwhile, for the side of Alter Ego, 0 tenacities. They just want to focus on pure damage here. Most of the time, just you can see weapon mastery across the board. And what is interesting here is, see, now I'm kind of confused. Is the Hayabusa going for Lethal Ignition or Killing Spree? Because there's Lethal Ignition and Killing Spree.
That is Lethal Ignition. This is the Assassin
there you go.
role
Okay.
emblem base. Yeah, a lot of adaptive penetration, though, coming in from Alter Ego. So you know that they mean business. You know that as soon as they catch someone with Franco's bite, then for sure. And here's what's cool, right? We had a discussion talking about focusing Mark as your core talent. And here on Rasi's Franco, it makes more sense because basically it's whoever gets hit by the hook.
Yep.
No
You get
question.
hooked.
Yeah, no question. If it's an AoE, like Kaja's rings as he jumps in, or lightning bombs when whoever walks into that, here it makes sense. Just a hook. That's it.
Hook, Bloody Hunt, and you know he's going to go down most probably through the burst. And obviously here, for the side of Alter Ego, the Herod, Nino, actually opted to go for Impure Raid. So again, just wanting to deal a little bit more damage, just burst here instead of going for that DPS. We've seen Killing Sprees also for the Herod, just who wants to go in, but understanding the composition, how good Blacklist International are with this composition at going front to back and going back and forth in these team fights, just baiting on a few skills. I think he went for the right choice. Killing Spree would have been a bit too greedy.
Something else to note, thanks to our producers in the back here, Franco's rocking the common emblem, which gives you a solid amount of every little bit. There's regen, there's HP, and there's adaptive attack. So basically, I don't know why he's rocking this. Maybe it's because he wants to plunk himself down into a laner when he roams around. That's what it is. That's what makes sense. Something else that's bothering me quite a bit is the focusing mark on Renege's Faramis. Unlike the Franco, which has a confirmed hit for 1 target, everything that Faramis does is AoE. So I wonder how they're going to communicate with that.
Yeah, that's something definitely that they need to talk about in-game to communicate as to how they target these members. But we're going to get into the Land of Dawn once again. And we also technically don't really know for sure what the focus mark can do. Is it AoE? Because the visual cue only shows 1 member with the focus mark.
It's just one, whoever's the first. So that's why it's a little more, I'd say, specific for Blacklist International. They have to say who it is they're fighting or they're targeting and focusing down. As compared to Alter Ego, it was whoever gets hooked by Rasi. So looking at this now, bottom lane, it looks like they're targeting Nino, Renege, looking for the pull. Watch out for Rasi. Something else to note, it's only Nino who's really respecting the CC coming in from Blacklist. But to be fair, Blacklist is very dive heavy. There's nothing that they're representing as compared to Alter Ego, which has the hook and the final slash when it comes to CC.
And you can expect Blacklist International play the early game pretty passively. I don't think they want to go for any unnecessary team fights, unnecessary skirmishes here, but we do see Pi already, as usual, being a nuisance here in the first turtle, rotating first compared to Edward, but he is also here to back things up. In the top lane, we see a Feather Airstrike go down. Two-man stun from Pi, and a final slash. Red Tree battle here is going to be won out by Hades. No Sully Boy. So it wasn't a Red Tree battle. It looked close.
The only thing that made it look close was the fact that there was like 3 or 4 HP left on the turtle, right?
Yeah.
And I'm guessing those are remnants of the old behaviors of junglers like Hades. Hades has been playing professionally for the better part of 2 to 3 years now. So you can expect that the young man has very hard-built muscle memory. But even on a Lancelot, even when he's rocking Seasoned Hunter, folks, Retribution isn't affected by said talent anymore. So you have to really watch out for that. And I'm guessing it all came down to that split second. Like, oh, I need to take my Retribution passive. I need to take a basic attack. Or else it really could have gone to anybody towards Alter Ego on that side, which maybe explains his 300 gold lead here. If Sully Boy understood that, hey, they're going slow, map is a little passive, why don't we make the most of the absence of Blacklist?
Muscle memory, that can be capitalized, honestly, by both of these teams, could be punished as well. But again, as we expected, the early game is going to be very passive from both of these teams. Yep. You can expect Alter Ego to try to push the pace, obviously, with their pick-style composition, as well as that lethal ignition on Sully Boy. He's definitely looking for a pick-off somewhere in the map, but it just seems like it's going to be very, very tough to do so, as Blacklist International have opted to just send a Renegade to play in that gold lane constantly, just giving Oheb so much space to play and farm.
I get it. Between Alter Ego and Blacklist, it's Blacklist who wants to see the 15, 16, 18-minute mark. Now bottom lane, they commit the Z-Force.
Good hook, but Coulter comes down from Renegade. Now he's giving the damage coming through, but their airstrike not getting him. Oheb still able to walk out of that one. Rossi gonna be poked down. Haji already committed that real-world manipulation. It's still 0-0. A little bit of a skirmish here in the mid lane, but it will not amount to anything.
Kudos to Alter Ego. They synchronized so well and orchestrated a 4-man gank down bottom. But just the same, Blacklist survived that despite there only being 3 members. So I have a question now, the fact that did Alter Ego get away with what they wanted? They didn't get a kill. Neither, actually, because they all spent their ults. But who won out in the end, right? This did still open up the map. And it looks like Chelly Boy is still on a 50-50. Can I contest? Should I? But with the pull that Edward and Hades have, Rasi and Udil here just waiting. I'm wondering, can this be a turtle for Alter Ego?
He's one level ahead of Hades. He can look for this right now. Spine jumps in, has the final slash. They might want to combo it together. But Feather Airstrike zoning Hades away. Let's see who gets it. It's very, very low. Pi, once again, just going on to Hades, trying to force him out. The CC does not connect, but the final slash will. It's not going to be communicated properly, though. It's still Udil who finds it in the midst of it all. Pi flickering out of the real world of inflation. And Sully Boy dives in deep onto the back with a shadow kill, but it's tanked up. Udil with the wings by wings, just flying over, giving vision to the rest of the team. As he's going to be slowed down, they might look for a re-engage. A good disengage from Udil. Some damage back in a flicker from Edward Balboa to equalize on kills.
They don't call him that for no reason, folks, and I believe that that was a worthy flicker. It was Udil, it was their mid laner, a Kage that he took down along the way. Let's look at their items here. Early Hunter strike here for Chelly Boy, who's about 500 gold ahead of Hades. And I just want to note here, 200 gold ahead for Nino against Oheb, the Filipino sniper. Dude, he's using that new item, the Starlium Scythe. I like it.
Let's see if he can actually utilize this fully here as he pops in some on-force. Good Iron Hook, but no Bloody Hunt this time around. Renegade going to be able to flicker out of that one pretty safely as Edward has picked up that Bloodlust Axe. First item prio for Edward.
Look at this, 1v1. Oh, Pi knows. Not quite time yet. Something to note here. Despite this being a lineup that's very different between Blacks International MSC or Blacks International SPS, and yeah, they still have the same amount of fans. These are agents through and through. I gotta say, they have the same weaknesses. They have the same tendencies. A lack of damage. Now bottom lane, it's another 4v2.
Ooh, call alter perfectly placed by Renegade, but Sully Boy is hunting Oheb down. He knows where he's at. He won't go for it just now. Goes in for a steal onto Hades, but Hades still is able to claim that. Rossi just barely, almost connecting on that Iron Hook, but it's going to be out of range.
Oh, despite the difficult time Blacklist has had, I think this is as good case scenario as it gets for OHEB's Moskov. And yeah, they're not even rotating him out, and they're still going!
Full dive here with Zaman Force as well. Rossi just holding on to that Bloody Hunt for another engage. That's a real revelation, locking him down. Rossi gonna fall here to OHEB. Alter Ego will take the turret trade and will go back. Blacklist International, don't stay quiet. Oh, good read from OHEB, able to dodge away. Just barely, again, on the other side of the bush, reading Udil out.
Oh, but do they know that Shelly Boy stayed? Haji spots him. Phantom Execution spent in by Hades, and that's 4 men whacking away at the turtle.
There should be a free turtle for Blacklist International, unless, here it is, Pi walks up, uses the final slash, good damage on the Nino, who pops into Zaman Force now on the back with Pi, dives in, OHEB, gonna be isolated from the team, but Nino's still able to survive right now with the shielding. Edward grants a shield by himself as well. That's the feather done from Nino. Pi flickering out, good damage to take the Alter HP down and to force Blacklist International away from the turtle.
And with all of that, no one fell. Turtle reset. Pi back at it. Chelly Boy confirms his purple, and I think they want to go again. Something to note here, folks. About 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes in, can confirm that Hades is building hybrid. So Hades, despite the way emblems have changed and a little bit of a hero adjustment on Lancelot himself, he's still building as if it were the last patch. So we'll see if that pays off right now. Alter Ego making quick work of this turtle. 100% so far for AE at 8 minutes.
A good equalizer, I would say, for Alter Ego, but Blacklist International always so cunning in these situations, able to find a good trade up top. Tier 2 for the turtle. Hades, whoa, a bit overextended, gets punished by the final slash, dove in. The Spear of Misery, unfortunately, was not at the right time there to save Hades.
Pi! Where was that coming from? He had the Azure Blade, and that's it. That's the only thing that I can see that could have possibly dealt a little bit more damage to have punished how deep Hades was. This is not a good game so far for this Lancelot. Not a single turtle. 0-2-0, and he's building towards what I think is a Guardian's Helm. So none of that helps the current situation that Lancelot is in right now. He needs to build damage. Look at the item build here. He's currently down about 2,000, no, 1,000, let's say. 1,000 gold, 800 here to be specific. And at least Edward is owning his lane, right? That top lane is looking beautiful, Edward! He's
Flicker.
okay. He's all right.
Has to burn a very important resource though now. Blacklist International, wow. With Phantom Execution on the back, very tanky final slash from Pi! Sweeps them back, and that's the full-on collapse. Pi able to escape as well. It's Hades falling for the 3rd time in this game.
It's hard to be Hades right now, and I believe that is an understatement. Looking at the map, yeah, they have pushed top lane all the way down to tier 3, but just the same, Alter Ego are up by 1,000 gold. 3 out of 5 roles are out farming their counterparts from Blacks International, and I like to think we haven't seen the best of OHEB quite yet. Quick update on what the Moskov is rocking. Corrosion Scythe, Golden Staff, and I believe on his way to a JHS. So that is going to do well to punish how deep Rossi goes, and even maybe Pi. Right now, Lord has spawned here 10 minutes in, and it looks like they want to give Edward a little some.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage just there. Flicker, Bloody Hunt. Nino picks up the kill under the turret. Edward wasn't really able to stand a chance there. A good iron hook, but this time no Bloody Hunt and no follow-up from the rest of Alter Ego. They'll take that win, and they'll transition it, convert it to the Lord.
Yep, it's a great pull for Alter Ego. They're a man up, and of course, the map is on their side at worst, at equilibrium. And there is a push in mid that Pi couldn't have handled, but right now, check him. He has a final slash, and he is close to building that Thunder Belt. Lord here at a 5th of his health.
Oh, Hades still going in for the commitment, uses the Phantom Execution defensively, but falls to Nino. Pi will fall as well, but it's a good trade over. Free Lord to Alter Ego. No chance for Blacklist International to try to force that out to contest for it.
Yep, it's a 1-for-1. Good news, they finally shut down Pi, but Hades falls again, and they concede over the level 1 Lord spawning down bottom. So yeah, minion waves enhanced for Alter Ego. They can still play this death ball pick-off style and then just slowly convert. They're not in a rush, Miracle. They're not in a rush to actually take turrets because they'll slowly fall, especially with the way that they're playing. So yeah, this is great tempo read by Alter Ego.
We're going to take a look at Oheb's items, though. It feels like, again, he has hit that item, Power Spike, with the 3 core items done. Corrosion Scythe into a Golden Staff and a DHS. We'll see what he's able to do here in this game in the 11th minute with that Power Spike. But so far, he's just been zoned out of the team fight. He hasn't been able to hit at all.
Yep, it's so difficult, and I'm thinking he's waiting for that to take the shield. Now they're breaking out into a fight.
It's a Bloody Hunt canceled by Hades. He used the Thorn Rose to get out of it. Rossi now with a flicker, and River knockout strike. Unable to find it, but it's a good hook over again, and it's to the main target. Oheb was caught. Oh my goodness. Rossi threading the needle, getting that. The final slash not connecting, but it's all good here. Oh, Rossi! Again with the iron hook. Finds Hades, brings him back. Nino picks up the kill, and it's all Alter Ego in the 12th minute of the game.
Rossi woke up today and said, I'm going to be better. I am going to play the Franco and show everyone that Alter Ego deserves to go to the Challenge of Finals, and they are close to 1 game away. This has been a very difficult game.
Final slash flicker. Edward now with a knockout strike, but he's not able to crack that front line. Udil stays put, able to dish out as much damage as he wants. And Alter Ego in 12 minutes has cracked the base open. 2 base turrets down with the first Lord of the game.
Not to mention that last turret left for Blacks International is the long lane away from this Luminous Lord coming in a minute. So at least they have that to hold on to. Their last bastion, their last hope to hold out. Looking at the gold difference per roll. By God, that's where this 8K is going, fam. A majority of it is on Chelly Boy. He's almost 4K ahead of Hades. Look at this fully built Hayabusa. Well, he just needs 1 more item after this endless battle. But yeah, no, they're trying to pick a fight.
I don't think it's going to be worth it, though, even if they focus down Rossi Pai. Oh, cheeky final slash, Nino. As the Bond Force goes for it, he's godlike. Nino activated fully by Rossi, getting these beautiful hooks in. That focus mark is really doing so much for Alter Ego.
Yep, anybody who gets pulled in has that passive. Amplified damage, and that's all she wrote. Forcing out a Cult Alter here.
That's it, that's it. One of the reasons, again, the Hayabusa was picked up was to try to force that Cult Alter. Jumping in, going with the ult, and then jumping back out. He's at that point where he can just constantly force that Cult Alter out, force these defensive battle spells or abilities, and if Blacklist International cannot play with their main win condition, then it's almost over. Alter Ego, once again, a free, uncontested Lord.
And that's what's so difficult here about what Blacklist is doing. You can see the spear tried to steal, but yeah, all it did was show exactly what was going on in that pit. What I'm saying is Blacklist International has an interesting box, right? You have Edward to punish anyone who's willing to check bushes that aren't as clear. And then you have this box set up by Haji, and you have Renegade trying to, I'm not sure what he wants to do. Dive or save whoever is a little too forward and then re-engage, right? So there's a little bit of everything in what Blacklist is doing. Now, Blacklist is well known for their ube, but not so much their chop suey. That's what this lineup feels like to me.
It's just really hard for Blacklist International, especially considering their win condition was built around that early to mid Power Spike. The fact that Hades has to go defensive, that's already a big, big loss for them. And Alter Ego just marching into the base, forcing a real-world manipulation pretty early on. Alter Ego still have a lot of resources to play with. Hades, once again with a puncture, just trying to buy some time, trying to make Alter Ego waste a few resources. But Alter Ego are playing it super calm, disciplined, stone cold, waiting for the next wave.
Yep. There's 1 in mid and a couple from top and bottom. A concealed play coming in. What's Rossi doing? Looking for an angle.
Oh, good pickoff, and that's going to be the Zaman Force. Nino free to hit Alter Ego. They win game number 1 with a massive statement up against Blacklist International.
They're so much cleaner coming in from their loss against Bigatron. And that was quite the series. If you remember, if you watched game 2 of that, I still have nightmares. But here, they showed up, and it looks like they have